The town has fallen, but General von Schlieben and Admiral Reinecke have locked themselves in the fortress with the rest of the garrison. German soldiers, surrender. This is your last chance. The loudspeakers of the psychological warfare unit join the bombardment. Before surrendering, the Germans blow up all the port installations. By June the 30th, it's over. With 800 survivors, General von Schlieben surrenders to General Collins. Hitler has a fit of hysterics and publicly calls Schlieben a coward. Cherbourg is taken, Cherbourg, of which nothing remains. In 19 days, record time, American engineering know-how, helped by French workmen, put the port in working order. In 2 weeks, the Allies have already built 2 artificial ports, the Mulberry Harbors. Now the point of those enormous structures, made in secret in England, which followed the landing fleet across the Channel, becomes obvious. Dozens of boats have been brought over to form breakwaters. Old merchant ships are filled with cement and sunk. They are 200 feet long and weigh 6,000 tons. Finally, 11 miles of jetties are constructed with hundreds of floating pontoons. The English dock has been constructed at Arromanches and christened Winston in honor of Churchill, who had the idea of trying this giant Meccano set. The second, the American port, has been installed in front of Saint Laurent. On June the 19th, a storm blew up, the most violent that had ever been experienced at that time of year. Eventually, the American dock had to be abandoned, but the British Winston held. In 2 months, 2 million men and 500,000 vehicles had disembarked at Arromanches. The extent of the Allies' preparations continues to stagger the Germans. One week after the landing, the Americans have constructed 45 landing strips in metallic mesh. They are erected in a few hours. From now on, fighter cover is immediately available. Lost on a deserted beach in the south of England, this strange ice cream parlor is really a secret pumping station. To keep the expeditionary force supplied with fuel, Churchill has the idea for a pipeline, codenamed Pluto, whose enormous reels unroll and lie along the bottom of the Channel. This pipeline will follow the Allied divisions right into Germany. For 4 years, Churchill has waited for this moment. For 4 years, he'd said to Parliament, "You ask me what is my goal? I reply to you with one word, victory." Now he had it. He wanted to land with the British troops himself. But when the King heard the news, he decreed, "Very well, if my Prime Minister is going there, I shall go too." It was the only way of preventing the old British Lion from going to war at 70 years of age. King George VI congratulates Montgomery in his turn. For Eisenhower, the diplomatist general, there is now a grave political problem, that of free France. Roosevelt refuses to recognize the provisional government of General de Gaulle and wants to install an American military administration in France, AMGOT, until the end of the war. Churchill is in a difficult position because he has always supported the Free French and realizes their importance to the Allied cause. De Gaulle has been keeping to himself in Algiers, away from the Allied planners, resentful of Roosevelt's hostility to his viewpoint and achievements in rallying the French nation. He cannot admit that the Americans would control occupied France in his place. It's a political crisis of the worst sort. If de Gaulle does not cooperate and the Americans do not accept his leadership, the Allied invasion will face unknown complications. In the end, de Gaulle makes his point. Eisenhower holds a long conference with him on the eve of the Normandy landings. The two men understand each other. When he sets foot on the Corsair